live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's your boy, Nolan Hawkeye Anthony, here Wednesday, May 26th. I hope all y'all are doing fantastic. I'm doing great after the Lakers snag a win yesterday, but that's not all we're going to get into today. Before we get into Iowa Hawkeyes in the news here, I want to just thank you for all your guys' support. You guys have truly been amazing. The podcast has been growing steadily, and for that, me and my partner Dean are very, very thankful. Before I toss it over to my partner, I want to mention going to 247hawkeye.com. A link will be in the description. You can follow me and my partner Dean. Best place to find us is Facebook, Nolan Hawkeye Anthony and Dean Freen. And then also Twitter, at Nolan, or excuse me, at 247 Hawkeye. And without further ado, I want to introduce my partner, Dean. Dean, how are you doing, buddy?
Hey, thank you. I'm doing great this morning. Yeah. I'm really feeling pumped. I've been doing a lot of workout lately the last 3 weeks between weights and water weights and stuff. And man, I feel like a new person. I really do.
In what way?
Well, I'm feeling more alert. My body just feels physically changed, and I can tell my body is starting to change a little bit. And it's just like, you know, I think you said the word in a private text message that when you get in the pool and do exercises in the pool, you can get your body shredded. And I feel like my body's starting to shred a little bit, man.
So let's give the people some context.
Okay.
Dean has started a new YouTube channel. We'll see if it lasts. We'll see if he continues to do it. I hope he does. Do you want to give out the name just yet or no?
It's just under my name, Dean Freen.
Okay.
F-R-E-I-N.
Last name spelled F-R-E-I-N. Dean, when I first met you, which was probably about 2 years ago, around then, give or take, Dean was in the process of making the conscious decision to drop some LBs. We've all been there. And so throughout his journey, he has some great tips. And I think it's a great idea, Dean, from a friend to a friend. I think that many people could use many people need to see someone else do it before they do it. And, from that standpoint, I think it's going to be a huge hit. I really do. As far as the swim workout that Dean's talking about, Tyler Goodson had a little pool workout, and I commented something to the effect of, this is the real deal. People get shredded doing this. And for context there, folks, if you don't know, I play Division I water polo, and yes, water sports get you shredded. What was the toughest part of that, Dean, working out in the pool? Are you a natural swimmer? A lot of people from Iowa are not natural swimmers.
No, I'm not a natural swimmer. Actually, when I do my laps, I can't go one full length doing the regular freestyle swim. I have to mix it up, and I mix it up all the way. I do, I really do, and that gets me through. That gets me through. But like I said, I try to do 30 minutes of lap swim before I actually do the physical workout, which is here, hang on. Using these things.
Oh,
in the water.
Yeah, the weights.
Yeah, these are the weights for the water. And plus, you use an adult-sized commercial-graded noodle in the water,
right?
Which I have over here.
Well, I can say that I haven't used a noodle in a long time, but the weights, those are phenomenal. What we used to use the weights, and to describe them to people at home, they're lighter than dumbbell weights, but they float, because the problem with using weights in the pool is that they sink, and it gets annoying having to mess with them. It does. It gets annoying to do that. What we would use them for is we would put them above our head and egg beat them like this. And occasionally we would use like a gallon of water, and you'd have to keep it above your head while the gallon of water drained. But what I always tell people, Dean, that get into the water sport is, you just got to realize what you're doing it for. And if you know you're doing it to drop some weight, then, you know, anything counts, anything and everything. If you're doing it to try and become a better swimmer, then that is a progression, just like anything. You know, the more that you do it, the more that you'll be able, the longer you'll be able to swim. You know, folks, it's just like running. That's the fact of the matter. You know, it's just like running. You know, if you haven't ran in a long while, you're not going to be able to get outside and run 3 miles. So, but Dean, I'm happy for you. How much have you lost up till now? Do you know?
In 3 weeks, I've lost 5.2 pounds. I mean, that
Woo!
doesn't seem like a lot, but I'm also
That
building muscle as I go. I'm toning up. So I have to keep that in mind that if, you know, if I weren't working out and I was just doing the eating, that would be disappointing weight loss if I wasn't doing the
Yeah, no, that is phenomenal. And yes, part of the tough thing about you know, weight loss, and again, I think what you just said is the correct mindset, which is, you know, especially in men, you start to build up muscle, and so it becomes difficult to gauge, am I actually making any progress? Yes, you're making progress, you know, so it's all good. And again, I'm very happy. Folks at home, Iowa fans, let's wish Dean good luck, and he's going to put it out there on YouTube for y'all to see, and, you know, and hopefully it can be some motivation for you. I probably shouldn't show my email like that again. Anyways, Dean, do you know much about the Jordan Bohannon situation or what?
I just know what's being reported. I don't know any details, you know, like, you know, what caused it. I just saw the video. I'm sure it's the same video you saw.
I didn't see the video.
Okay.
Is there a video?
Yes, and
We
Paul
got to
sent
check
it
that
to us.
out.
Yeah. Yeah, check out it's in the link that Paul sent us. He sent us a link. You and
That's
me
right.
together.
Well, if it's on my phone, I won't be able to check it out, but I can find it on the computer. Well, folks,
oh, I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah. Well, folks, Jordan Bohannon, I believe he got punched, which sucks, and that's too bad. You know, I'm going to pull up the video. Here's my initial thoughts on it.
Okay.
My initial thoughts, Dean, are that, well, I have a couple, but right off the bat, okay, it's not like I'm saying that what the guy did is, you know, was a big time move or anything like that. I don't condone what he did. You know, I'm not, Jordan was probably not being perfect either, but I don't condone what he did either. So it's not good. And it sucks that this guy, probably in his young 20s, is probably going to be in trouble, which may ruin the rest of his life. Which brings me to my next thought, which is, and when I heard about this, I just kept thinking to myself, man, has time changed? Because, and again, this is not me saying that what the guy did is okay. It's not, okay? But when I saw this, I was just like, man, times have changed, Dean, because, you know, I remember when I was growing up that increasingly sports was the only area where men or young men could become men and men could be men. And, you know, and some of you guys may take that the wrong way. I don't mean it in any way. Okay. But when I see this and I see Jordan, it's just like, dude, what are you doing videotaping this? I don't understand that. I really don't. And, you know, that may come off, I guess what I'm saying is that I don't think that it just shocked me, Dean, that a grown kid on the men's basketball team is videotaping stuff like it's world star hip hop. And it just wasn't, it didn't come across as gentlemanly. It didn't come across as righteous. It didn't come across as noble in any way, shape, or form. And I'm not tearing down Jordan here. I'm not. But so that's one of my thoughts, is that it's increasingly difficult for guys to take care of stuff amongst each other by themselves. Okay. That's virtually gone. It's virtually gone. And then the last thought that I had on it is, it sucks for this guy. It sucks. We'll see what happens. It wouldn't surprise me if Jordan's dad was like, dude, tell them you're done with it. Okay. Tell them you're done with it. So I don't know, Dean.
All right. Here's what I think possibly could have happened.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows that Jordan's a little outspoken.
Yes, he is.
I think he and his friends were out for a few brewskis on the town on Iowa City, and they're of age. So I think what happened is some drunkard in the bar recognized him and started mouthing off, giving him shit, trying to provoke him.
Yeah.
Okay. And Jordan decided that I'm going to whip my camera out, because if I'm going to get in an argument with this guy, I want it on tape so people can see that it wasn't me. So, because otherwise I don't believe he would be recording it if Jordan tried to start something. And I think you got the video right there.
Yeah, I do.
And while he's talking to this guy, or arguing with this guy, a guy from the side comes and tackles him, throws him to the ground, and somebody else comes up and just wallops a kick into him. And I think that's probably where the head injury may have occurred.
Sorry about the sorry. Go ahead, Dean. Sorry about the sound. Go ahead.
Okay. So you could see Jordan in the back there in the background. You can see his thing up with the camera and up there. He's got his phone up there. And yeah, now you're seeing the fight. It's poorly done.
Yeah.
Hold
on.
Yeah. Go ahead and
it doesn't really seem like the guy came out of nowhere. He could see him, right? Because this is the first time I'm watching it, folks. And from what I was hearing is that the guy came out of nowhere and just hit Jordan. That's what I was hearing.
Yeah.
And right now, that's not what it seems like.
No, what it looks like is the guy was standing off to his side.
Yes.
And Jordan was totally focused on that bigger guy that he was arguing with, and this other guy just came and tackled him.
Because this is Jordan right here, and he's getting pushed back. You can see the bigger guy just saying what he's saying. Here it is one more time. This is good TV. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. So I guess I didn't really see him get pushed. Did you?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. And folks, listen. Some of y'all are going to be like, Jordan Bohannon's a Hawkeye. How could you? No. Me and Dean are truth tellers first, plain and simple. And we're going to say how we think about things. And I just need to watch this through one more time.
Okay.
I got to say, Dean, it kind of seems like if I'm getting it right, it kind of seems like Jordan is the one that's throwing the hard gestures, like, come, you mother, like that. I don't know. That's kind of what it seems like to me.
Well, when I'm looking at, all I see is him argue. It looks like he's talking to somebody with the camera in his hand like this, but I don't see him
TMZ Sports.
But it's hard to tell because it's all out of focus, and this guy did a poor job of getting his camera in there.
True. Okay, I want to say, I'll say this too. Dean's right. The camera is not good enough to, one way or another make a hard decision on this. But from what I can see, and I haven't heard anyone's opinions. The only thing that I've heard is that the guy came out of nowhere. And to me, that seems to be furthest from the truth. Out of nowhere to me is when, because I have had guys come up on me twice out of nowhere, legit out of nowhere, when I played for the Oakland Rebels, and I would walk in downtown Oakland with one of my teammates. Okay. Out of nowhere to me is literally when you're not doing anything. You're just minding your own business. And 1, 2, or 3, or even 4 individuals out of nowhere that had nothing to do with you decide to go ahead and do something. That's not what it seems like here. Go ahead, Dean.
Well, no, and I don't think anybody used, I think maybe people have used the term out of nowhere. They say he was blindsided is the official statement from the University of Iowa. And I could see that because the guy could be standing next to you, but if you're focused on another guy and you don't see that tackle coming, the guy who tackled him to the ground, then he was blindsided, even though the guy was probably standing right there. That makes sense to you?
Yeah, that makes sense. I understand what you're saying there. It absolutely could be a blindside if the person came to the side that was out of your peripheral. I totally agree with that. Mm-hmm. Listen, Dean, now that I've seen it, I'm not sure if this guy should get a full-blown felony. I don't know. This is not the worst fight I've seen. I've seen much worse than this. This kind of just seemed like a scuffle. I think the person who actually tackled him to the ground will probably get off easier than the guy who came up and kicked him in the head. Oh yeah, that's not okay. If that happened, and again, there's no video. I didn't see video of that. But if that happened, if somebody did come up and kick out of nowhere Jordan in the head, that guy is in trouble. And that I'm not okay with. I'm not okay with that. But, Dean, do you think that I'm on? I don't know. When I see this, I just see I don't know. It seems that increasingly it's becoming hard for, because when I say that men are having a tough time working things out as men, what I mean is the natural instincts that are God-given towards men that, I spent 8 years learning about in college. And Dean, I don't know. I just think that there's a lot, there's only a few places that guys can go and kind of be guys. And that's maybe in martial arts. That's in sports, but, like football and basketball, but, and folks, I'm not saying that guys being guys entails, always fighting. That's not what I'm saying. But I don't know. It seems like it's kind of closing. And, if this was 50, excuse me, that's not a good argument. If this was 50 years ago, but the reality is if this was any time before the 2010s, it probably, we wouldn't even be talking about this. On a scale of 1 to 10, well, Dean, what do you think on this? Am I too far off? Am I not seeing this correctly for what it is?
I don't know. It's hard to judge. I mean, guys do get in scuffles. They do fight.
They do. That's what I'm trying to say.
I mean, I can honestly say I've been in a few fisticuffs in my life.
Yes.
And I lost them all, but I don't think I ever won one. But Amen, also in my younger days, I had a mouth kind of like Jordan does, and it got me in trouble a few times.
Yeah.
I learned to temper that mouth because I didn't like getting beat up.
Getting touched up does not feel good. So we'll see what happens. This is why I kind of always laugh about the when a guy has been playing for a couple of years and people say, the senior leadership. Yeah, I guess it's something. But folks, Jordan's still a young man. It's not as though Jordan is this, perfectly moral, perfectly sound, older guy, as you can see here. So, but he does have experience in basketball. I will say, Dean, increasingly, I am looking around the country. I am happy about Jordan coming back, as a side note. And, I think that's enough there. Let's move off of that.
Okay.
I am happy about Jordan coming back because, I looked at Illinois basketball, and folks, just a little foresight. We're going to talk about the Hawkeyes being named to the All Big Ten team. I believe Iowa had the third most guys on the All Big Ten team for Athlon Sports. And then we're going to talk about Fran McCaffrey's comments on the transfer portal here coming up, and then obviously a few more things. But by the way, here's what 247 wrote about it. University of Iowa senior basketball player Jordan Bohannon was physically assaulted early Sunday morning in Iowa City. Dude, go to church. No, I'm joking. Bohannon is recovering after receiving medical attention to treat a serious head injury. That's probably, what's going to get, if the kick is true, that's probably what's going to get him in a lot of trouble. A lot of people look at head injuries in a much different light than we used to look at. And that's, it's not good.
It's not good because not only that, because he's when he's down on the ground, yes, he's defenseless.
Right.
You cannot hit a defenseless man.
I'll say, I want to say this. If when I was growing up, Dean, I knew certain guys that were just tougher than the rest of us. And I would say for myself, I pride myself on being somewhat tough, at least above average. AKA, I can take some pain. But there were some guys who were just a little bit more. And, I used to look at like the scope, like the environment we were in. And I used to think to myself, this just isn't enough. There's no way for them to go to kind of figure out their mindset. Nowadays, if you're someone, because Dean, my brother fought in UFC, and I don't know about you, Dean, but the guys that fight in UFC have one or two screw looses. Does that mean that we should, lock them away? No. MMA has been phenomenal for them. And, if you're someone who likes physicality, in this day and age, I fully think that you should just go to MMA so that you don't have a risk of it coming out elsewhere, because this society we're living in today will just, you just can't do it nowadays. For better or for worse, you just can't do it nowadays. So I think you should just do MMA. If that did you know guys like that, Dean? They weren't necessarily bad guys, but they were just tough guys. Did you know guys like that growing up?
I did. And
yeah.
By the way,
what's up?
By the way, the MMA.
Yeah,
I love watching it.
Yes,
so
me
too. The more we love watching it, the more those guys are gonna take their screws and unloosen them a little bit more.
Too true,
man, you go out there and take a beating sometimes.
Yeah.
You gotta have a screw loose when you're going out there, and you're not gonna win every fight you go out there unless you're Conor McGregor or something.
And especially the toughest sports. I always say that the toughest sports are the sports where you're gonna take in pain.
Yeah.
And sports that are examples of what I'm talking about: water polo, running, football to a certain extent, MMA. That you are going to feel pain no matter what. that takes a tough son of a gun to do. So yeah, if you're someone who's a little bit physical, I'm telling you, you know, you just got to go to MMA and figure something out there, because it's just in this day and age, you know, you know, I'll put it to you this way. Even if it's someone who is totally fine with you fighting him, just like kind of for fun, I don't even think you're allowed to do that now. So anyways, this is what it says in the article. Thankfully, Jordan is recovering well after being attacked by an individual he did not see coming at him. Okay. Iowa head coach Fran McCaffrey said, "We were made aware of the incident immediately. We are grateful that friends who were with Jordan at the time kept the incident from escalating. His health is our number one concern." And he was struck outside DC Sports Bar in Iowa City. So is there anything left on this bone to talk about, Dean?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't
think,
think
you
so
know,
either.
the details will eventually come out, but you know, it has to be investigated and everything.
Right. That's a perfect thing. So we'll keep you updated, folks. We will keep you updated. Before I move on, again, make sure to go to 247hawkeye.com. And folks, I sent Dean the numbers recently, and they are absolutely skyrocketing. And I think what has to do with that partly is no doubt YouTube, you know, the creation of the YouTube channel. But most of it is you guys sharing the content, you guys, you know, enjoying it, commenting on it, liking it. And for that, me and Dean are very grateful. We enjoy doing this together. The NHA podcast, you can find it on 247hawkeye.com. The best place to find me and Dean is on Facebook, Nolan Hawkeye Anthony and Dean Freem. I'll put the link in the description. All right, Dean. I was kind of getting into what Fran McCaffrey said about the transfer portal. But I want to go into the Iowa Hawkeyes that were named to the All Big Ten. And by the way, I also think I'm going to talk about recruiting. And I believe it's June 25th is the day that the Hawkeyes are having most of their recruits on campus. And, you know, that's a pretty big deal. All right, Dean. The Iowa Hawkeyes have 11 guys. Tyler on the All Big Ten team. Tyler Goodson, Tyler Linderbaum were first team. Torrey Taylor and Charlie Jones were both first team. And I got to say to you, Dean, that makes me excited, because truthfully, what really matters when these teams are so close together in talent are the little things that can make a huge difference, aka punting the football, aka how much can your punt returner help your quarterback and the offense every time he receives a punt. Are you guys going to be pinned down in the 20s or in your own 20? Or are you going to get 20 to 30 yards and have the football starting position 30, 40, sometimes on the opposing team's 40-yard line? And a great example of three games where Iowa won, it was a total team effort that they won, would be USC. Remember that, Dean, against USC?
Yes, I do. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you and me specifically remember that. You know, by the way, me and Dean have a special connection with Iowa and USC. When I was growing up, I hated USC because I lived in California, and they whooped up on my Iowa Hawkeyes in the 2005, I believe, Orange Bowl. And so I've always disliked USC. Dean, I'm not sure. Do you actually like USC a little bit? I don't remember.
A little, just a little, because I used to go to the USC games with my friend who was a USC fan.
Yeah.
When I lived in California the first time, back in the late 80s, early 90s. And so
how are those games?
I will tell you what, they're have been times when I was going to those games that I would wake up in the middle of the night with a stupid USC marching band song going in my head, because every time they'd make a first down or make a score or something, that band would go nuts, and they had that same song they were playing over and over. And it's just like, come
Their songs are
on.
pretty catchy. How is
Yeah.
this? But from what I've heard, the USC games are pretty sweet. You know, so if I were you, Dean, I'd be taking advantage of that all day long. If I were you, I'd be going to Clipper games. I'd be going to LA Galaxy games. Dean, you have everything over there. I would be taking advantage of it because
Wait a
I live
minute.
in
It's not like you
Sacramento.
don't have
Dean,
some stuff to go to in the Northern California up
not
there.
much.
You got the Kings right there in your hometown.
That's nothing. The Kings compared to what? The Lakers? Are you joking? Folks, Sacramento is the capital of California, which is where I live. It is 8 hours away. Well, give or take from where Dean lives, which is close to Los Angeles. It's not close. Sacramento, we are getting an MLS team. I think that's going to work out. But all we have is the Sacramento Kings, whereas Dean is just flustered with some of the best talent in the world, which is great. And it's hard for me to get out there, Dean. I mean, that's an 8-hour drive. Maybe it's worth it. I don't know. But the USC game comes to mind for the punting and the kick return. Iowa State last year, and then Wisconsin this year, or this past season. Those games, if you remember, gosh darn it, the corner Terry Roberts is the one who came up with the fumble when Iowa State got the ball back with a chance to beat the Hawkeyes with about 2 minutes left, and that ended the game. Those things matter. They matter a lot. And so, when I think about Iowa versus Iowa State and some of these other teams, I'm not going to lie, Dean, part of my excited feeling with the Iowa Hawkeyes has to do with their talent in some of the peripheral spots, such as punt returner, punter, even kicker. I feel good about the kicker position and Caleb Shudak. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Torrey Taylor, he's going to pin some teams back.
Yes.
But the thing is he's working on switching over to traditional punting. I kind of wish he wouldn't. I kind of like the way he did it last year. And also,
would he do the rollout? Would he do the rollout kick where you roll? I can't remember what he did.
Yeah, kind of like the rugby style kick.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And he still get it pretty deep. But what I liked about the way he did it is that ball would be hard to handle. And
yes.
We actually got some recoveries that, I think, if I remember correctly,
you're right,
based on the fact that they were hard to handle. And a lot of times the guys would just have to step away and let that ball roll a little more for Iowa. But that's okay. Torrey's going to do traditional, learn to do some traditional punting, and I'm sure we're going to see some of that. But
if he can do both, that'd be great.
Oh, that would be great, because then he can time it where he can do it. The thing is because he's not a traditional punter.
Yeah,
I don't know that his traditional punts will be that great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
We might not see the 45 yards of kick that he did this past season.
It's interesting. You're absolutely right. I think it will be tough for him to be an excellent, just boom and then kick type of guy, traditional. For me, Dean, I remember when the rollout rugby kick was first introduced into college football. It was about, I would say, the late 2000s, like 2008. And, I think there's benefits to both. With the rugby style kick, you have a much better chance. One, there's a lot of times that it has an excellent chance of going very far because of the bounce. And then also it has an excellent chance of hitting someone on the ground and being tough for the punt returner to punt returner. Yeah, well, kickoff wouldn't really do it, but the punt returner to handle it. The negative is there's not as much airtime, and people like the airtime. So, I think it's a give and take. Which one do you prefer, Dean?
I right now I prefer the I like the rugby style because I think it's gonna create more excitement for Iowa. Now that being said, there is something to be said about the traditional pump and, like you said, the airtime and and the guys going to fair catch our ball.
Yeah,
fair catch. Well,
Ref,
I hate that rule on the kickoffs that you can fair catch it behind the 20-yard line and they're going to move the ball to the 25 anyway.
That bothers me. That really does. Because some of the coolest parts of football are the niche rules, such as pinning your opponent inside the 20. That gives a lot of momentum. I think football's making a mistake getting rid of some of these rules, but we'll see. Did you know, Dean, that I think it was like I counted 5 of like the top 7 or 8 punters in last year's class from high school are all from that Australian punter school. Did you know that?
That doesn't surprise me. No, I did not know, but it doesn't surprise me because our last two punters came from Australia.
Right, that's true. Well, one of them, in fairness, was a transfer. So, it wasn't perfect, but it's just, to me, it is crazy, Dean, how much success they are having at that school. I was going to pull up the punters real quick. On a side note, Tory Taylor, I honestly, Dean, if he has an excellent neck this season, he's old enough to go to the NFL. I think he'll have an excellent shot of going to the NFL if he has another excellent season. Outside of that, folks, outside the first team, on the second team, Iowa had Cody Ince, which is somewhat surprised me because I don't really know a lot about Cody Ince. Yeah, he did decent last year in a couple of games. I trust the Iowa coaching staff saying they're high on him. I trust that. I do. It's always funny to me when you have higher rated guys in a recruiting class that don't produce as quickly or even as good. And then you have a guy like Cody Ince, whose main top offer was Iowa. And it just shows how strong Iowa's talent evaluation is, that they can see what type of guy they need better than anybody else. And they do it a lot, folks. It's not as though they do it every now and again. Iowa does it consistently every year. They find up to 3 guys that no one else really noticed. What's that?
Okay, now, before you move on.
Yeah, what's up?
I want to point out something on the second team offense.
Talk to me.
Okay. When was the last time you saw an Ohio State quarterback second team offense? They're usually the first team offense.
True.
Quarterback.
True. True.
Okay. Next thing is we've been saying that Wisconsin doesn't have a running game, that they don't have a true running back anymore.
Yeah.
He's second. This Jalen Berger for Wisconsin is second team. So do they have this guy? Is this guy a running back?
No.
Is he gonna
Hold on. What I have been saying is that I have always said that when Iowa's running game is equal and sometimes slightly better than Wisconsin or Penn State, in particular, their running back talent. So when you measure Tyler Goodson to Jalen Berger, how do they measure up? Recently, Wisconsin has had that edge. Now I would give Iowa slightly that edge. And we're going to talk about Tyler Goodson. Matter of fact, we're going to talk about him now. But, Dean, I don't think I ever said that Wisconsin's running game is not good. I am surprised that the guy is second team when I ain't ever heard of this guy before. I don't even know who this guy is.
That's true. And something else I wanted to point out, one more thing.
Talk to me.
Wide receiver David Bell.
Yeah, should be first team.
Should be a first team. I mean, he was considered first team All Big Ten last year. And what does that say about the two receivers they picked for first team? That they must be outstanding, or they're expecting a lot out of these guys.
Well, you know, number one, these you know, all big whatever teams are not perfect. But you know, Dean, it doesn't really surprise me that Ohio State guys are up there, you know. But I'm not gonna lie, David Bell to me is by far the best wide receiver in the Big Ten. In my eyes, it's not even close. He is the guy. So that is somewhat shocking, folks. Real quick on Tyler Goodson, and then you know, I want your take on this, Dean. Folks, there's a video, and you know what? Maybe I'll give it some love here. See if I can pull it up for a second. There's a video of Tyler Goodson working out, doing his pool workout, which me and Dean talked about at the beginning of the show. And it's just incredible. Dean, I feel as good now with Tyler Goodson than I felt before. You know, this guy is dedicated. Let me tell you something, folks. I think a lot of people tend to think that when guys come out of high school that, you know, all things are equal and this and that. It's not. There is a difference between a guy like Tyler Goodson, who literally brings his trainer down with him to get in extra work outside of the rigorous work that Iowa already gives him, which is hours on the field and a tremendous strength and conditioning program. Tremendous.
I want you to, hey,
yeah, talk to me.
I was going to say, I was going to have you run that second video down where he does his footwork. I want people to see.
Yeah, let's see
how
that
fast
one.
His feet move.
They move fast. You know, he's not a traditional runner. You know, he doesn't have the prettiest running form, but he is explosive. Look at that. Jeez. And then you can see this guy so much slower. Speed kills, folks. Speed kills, even in water polo. Look at that. No, seriously, Dean. In water polo, if two guys are, well, actually, if one guy is slightly better, but the other guy is faster at swimming, that a lot of American coaches, maybe not everybody, but American coaches will choose the guy that is a faster swimmer because America likes speed. That's not how it is everywhere, but American coaches like speed, baby. So Tyler Goodson, folks, from my own experience, I'm telling you, he is a step above. And it's awesome to see. It's awesome to see his quiet confidence. It's awesome to see the closeness he has with his family. It's awesome to see, you know, behind the curtain, how amazing Iowa City is. It's awesome to see how amazing the program is. That's, you know, all of his videos, Dean, really show that. It shows, you know, it's awesome to see he's got, you know, a pretty honey and his, you know, I think is his girlfriend. You know, he's killing it down there, and it makes me happy for Iowa, and it makes me excited that Iowa has it, in my eyes, the workhorse back to take them home when other things aren't working. That's my thoughts, Dean. What are your thoughts?
Absolutely.
Amen, brother.
He's got such great family support, and I just love the way his parents come on and show support, not only for him but for his two younger brothers.
And
by
for
the way,
the Iowa teammates. I said, and for the Iowa teammates, they show a lot of love to them too.
Yeah, and not only that, did you know his younger brother's going to Michigan this year?
What? No, I didn't know that.
His youngest brother's gone to Michigan, but
why is that?
As a football player, not as a football player.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. He's just going there to go to
going
school
there because he was. Yeah, I said. I told his mom on when she announced that, I said, boy, that's going to make for some interesting Iowa versus Michigan game day things. And she said, yes, it will.
Yeah, that's crazy, you know, and it makes you happy too when you can see families, you know, like I'll give you an example, Dean LeVar or what is it, LeBall or no, LeVar LaMelo Ball or his dad. Okay,
Yeah,
say what you
Melo,
will
yeah.
about his dad, but he raised two NBA players, two first-round NBA players, two lottery players, and three all of them went to college. And it's, you know, say what you will, but that is impressive. And it makes me happy to see people have that kind of success, you know, gets me going. So folks, I'm all behind Tyler Goodson. I am completely I think Tyler Goodson is going to be phenomenal this year. Somebody asked me why if I could do a way too early Iowa versus Iowa State pick. And listen, folks, what I said is that I think Iowa is better than people realize all around. And I don't think Iowa State is as good as people think. So we'll see if that comes to fruition. Now, it is way too early for me to have the prediction, but we shall see. All right, continuing with the Athlon Sports, let's just pump this out here. The other guys, Zach Van Bilkenburg was on second team defense. Matt Hankins made second team defense. Jack Carner on second team defense. And then what else do we have here? Third
Sam
team
Laporte
offense.
on third.
That kind of surprised me, Dean. Sam Laporta on third team. I think he's, you know, first or second team. But, you know, preseason.
I got a prediction for you.
Yeah, go for
it. He might be third team with Athlon Sport to start the season. He will be first team tight end when the season's over. Where you finish? What do you got?
Oh, there we go. Is where you finish, baby. So that's what matters.
Yep.
And then Jack Campbell's on third team. I was surprised that Seth Benson wasn't on first, second, or third or fourth team. That kind of surprised me. Riley Moss was on third team. And then I think Iowa had a few more guys here. Fourth team. No, that's it. It looks like they gave some love to some Rutgers guys and some Nebraska guys just to give them some love, you know, because this is the day and age where everybody gets a trophy. So there you go, Nebraska. You're getting a little trophy for what it's worth. Iowa had 11 all Big Ten players. Indiana had 10. Ohio State had 13. Penn State had 10. And Wisconsin had 11. So Iowa was second, 2 behind Ohio State. And quite frankly, I think easily Dane Belton and Seth Benson could both be on the all Big Ten team, which shows, and Tyrone Tracy, that wouldn't surprise me either if he was third or fourth team, shows how talented this Iowa team is. Don't you think, Dean?
Absolutely. You know, some of the guys that were kind of left off, Seth Benson, Tyrone Tracy, those guys' names will be up there at the end of the year.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know why they're not there now. I guess these people must be more proven so far. I don't know. Some of these guys I never even heard of. You know.
Neither, my friend. Maybe it's because, you know, last season, you know, some guys didn't play as much. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I am kind of surprised some of the guys. Oh, okay. I was looking up, Dean, Iowa basketball, because we're going to talk about Fran McCaffrey's comments here for the transfer portal. And there's an article that says satire. Fran McCaffrey forces Connor McCaffrey into transfer portal.
I love that. Boy,
it's hilarious.
I saw that. I knew that was wrong.
Are you now, you know, since we organically came up, on Connor McCaffrey. What are you surprised that he's gonna finish his 4th year at Iowa?
Yeah, kind of. I thought maybe he would just because he's supposed to be a better baseball player, and I think he's just had one season of baseball in all the years that he's been with Iowa so far.
Yeah.
My thought is that he was going to actually. I thought he would, and I predicted it. It sounds like I'm going to be wrong. That once he got his hips all mended up and fixed and everything, that he would be.
That.
Yeah, that he would be just focusing on baseball to finish out his career. And apparently I'm wrong, but apparently, Dad needs him back because, he's losing too many guys this year.
True that. That's, I mean, it's very true. I'll say I'm a little bit surprised too. I'm not gonna leave Dean hanging there. I am surprised because he is a better football player or football. He is a better he's a better baseball player. And Iowa was, listen, for everything that I've said about Connor, Iowa usually is a little bit better with him. But Dean, if there was a team that he could have left and people would have been like, okay, it is what it is. It was this past year's team. And so when he was on that team, I said to myself then that I think he's in it for the long haul. And, for what it's worth, he is a coach's son. And so there is loyalty there. There's love there. There's support. And so from that part, it doesn't necessarily surprise me. But if I were to guess, a couple of years ago, I would have said that, he was only going to play 1 or 2 years and then he was going to be gone. If I didn't say that, I'd be lying. By the way, while I'm pulling up this article, Iowa hires a new director of football recruiting, which is quite frankly a nice big role. I'm pulling up his name right now. Dean,
Jason
what are your
Mason.
thoughts? What's his name?
I think it's Jason Mason.
Jason Mason. What do you think, Dean?
Yeah. Oh, I think it's a great hire.
Yes.
And by the way, it's not recruiting; it's player development.
Player development. Thank you for that correction.
Yeah. He's the guy that people are going to go to when they're having issues or feeling lonely and things like that. He's the one that's going to make these guys hopefully feel better on campus. And the fact that he is a man of color, I absolutely love that. I think the director of player development needs to be a man of color because in all honesty, these guys need to make them feel like that Iowa will take care of them. We can't have what happened last summer at all. And we need these guys. We need somebody they can feel comfortable with venting with their issues and stuff like that so that we don't lose any more of these guys.
Well, I'm on the complete other side. I think it's a strong hire because he played college football. I've worked in case management, and one thing I've learned is that maybe certain things like your color may get you in the door for things, but at the end of the day, people are comfortable with you based on you and the things that you help them with and things like that. And Dean, if it turns out that the allegations are not true, to me, it bothers me if we are going to reward lying and bad behavior with something just to appease a small group. That does not sit well with me because you're rewarding a lie. Now, I'm not saying it's a lie. I'm not saying that right now. Okay. But if it turns out that the allegations were just no more than rumors and hearsay, then if we did that, in my eyes, it wouldn't be good. And then, my last thought on that is that football's a meritocracy, and it will not help blacks or any people of any color if we start hiring based off of, well, we need this person's color as opposed to hiring talent. it's not going to work. So those are my thoughts on it. And maybe it's controversial, but at the end of the day, I am excited that Iowa hired him. I think he's talented. And I think it's going to help Iowa really well. I think Sam Brinks did a phenomenal job. And wasn't Iowa Iowa's Kirk Ferentz's daughter's son, wasn't he the coach of player development? I can't remember, Dean.
It was Broderick Benz.
Oh, that's right. It was Broderick Benz, and then it was Sam Brinks. That's right.
Yeah.
That is
and
correct.
And Broderick was they had moved him away from that last year. There was an interim person that was handling it this year.
Right.
Well, so I don't know how they feel about that. I also want to say one thing about Jason.
Go for it.
I did not realize that he was the backup quarterback, because I don't remember him, but he was the backup quarterback to Drew Tate. And he actually, when Drew Tate missed a game, he actually started and won a game for Iowa.
What? Who'd they play?
I forget. It's in the article of on his hire. It was at like at 247.
Well,
I think it was 247 Sports, I think, wrote the article, and I think they pointed out that he actually started one game and actually won it, even though he threw 4 interceptions that game. Oh, I know what it was. Syracuse. It was the Syracuse game.
Oh, Syracuse. Okay.
You remember that game where we won it in overtime and had to have a 4-down goal line stand to win that game?
I was actually at a game, but I do remember specifically that game. It was a massive game. And that's pretty cool that he won that game. Those are your favorite type of games. That one. Dean, I'm having a hard time finding the exact article, but really what I wanted to talk about, and I can't find his comment, but Fran McCaffrey said something under these lines with the transfer portal. He said that basically this is how things are. And if that's how things are going to be, then that's how they are going to move forward. And he said that, you don't build teams anymore. You are trying to hold teams together, and you're recruiting teams. And I just thought that was incredibly interesting. On one side, I'm thinking in my head, well, you should have realized this sooner, Fran, because it's been this way for a couple of years now, not just this year, a couple of years. But on the other, I'm happy regardless that he has it. And I brought up early in the show, Illinois, folks. Illinois has lost half its roster, not just players, but coaches moving elsewhere. And Dean, it is shocking to me because Iowa in both football and basketball are just anomalies. They are complete and utter anomalies. This is not how the rest of the country works when it comes to holding teams together. And, and the funny thing is, when Iowa, when Tim Polasek decided to move on, and as well as Derek Foster, a lot of us were like, is something wrong? Is there an issue there? When in reality, those guys had been at Iowa for a couple of years, 4 or 5 years, which is longer than most people stay anywhere. And they, both went to better jobs. As far as Iowa goes and Fran McCaffrey's comments, it is sad to me that for a coach, he has to come to the realization that in the world of college basketball, building a team, which takes careful consideration, it takes planning out, because you look at the players that you have, you look at the talent you have, and you make plans to get better. Most schools have to do that because most schools are not blue bloods. Now you can't do that because by the second year, Dean, 50, 75% of your roster is gone. It's done. It's blown up.
Mm-hmm.
And CJ Frederick was that was just, I think that was the biggest thing for Fran McCaffrey to say, this is it. Okay, I get it now. Things are different. So I thought that his comments were very, very interesting concerning teams, not being able to build a program. What did you think about his comments, Dean?
Absolutely right. I think the transfer portal should be used to enhance what you already have.
Yes.
Use it for your missing pieces that you need. I don't think teams should be building teams based off the transfer portal. A la Nebraska this year and Iowa State coming up. They pretty much dwelled into the transfer portal and rebuilt their whole teams around the transfer portal. And it's just like, you ever feel like when you watch a Nebraska or Iowa State play that you're never watching the same players year in and year out because you might get them for 1, maybe 2 years and then they're gone.
They're gone.
At least with Iowa, most of our players are 3 to 4 year players, and we get to know them a little bit, or in Jordan's case, 6-year player.
And that's another thing. You brought up another angle to this, and we're at an hour and 1 minute. Be sure to go to 247hawkeye.com. Follow me on YouTube, Nolan Hawkeye Anthony. Share, like, and comment the NHA podcast. It is growing like gangbusters. And we are very, very grateful for you guys, all of you guys who enjoy the show and talk to us and all of those things. We may get, I may bring back the phone thing. It's not like I had a bad thing with it. But I don't know. I need the confidence to go that route. I do think that me and Dean are going to do Facebook Live, because one thing that I do enjoy is being able to record a video and have people commenting, and me and Dean be able to react to that in real time and say, and in other places, if a podcast becomes big enough, people literally pay to be able to comment. And I think that is the next step toward, I'm not saying that we're big enough for that, but well, maybe, I don't know, but that is how all the channels do things. So yeah. So I think, we might do that. Haven't fully decided yet, but if we do, we'll be more than capable of doing it. And I'm excited. And by the way, if you want to help out the show, doesn't, in my eyes, I'll say this, it doesn't really, it's not a big deal, but I'd be remiss if I didn't mention it. If you want to support the show, we have a PayPal link on the bottom of the screen. I'll put the link in the description. With the recruiting, Dean, when guys are constantly leaving, and that I always say that I'm an Iowa fan more than the players' fans. But the fact of the matter is, when guys stay at a school, it makes it better for fans to say, I like that guy. I love that he stayed at, Iowa for 3-4 years. That's why people love Javo. He's a good player, but he's been at Iowa for 6 years. That allows fans to rejoice around that individual. And quite frankly, that's one of the reasons I think it's a massive mistake when guys decide to transfer, because that type of love they will never get. But when you stay at a school and finish it out, you get that love. Luka Garza, he's set for life. If the NBA doesn't work out, he is set for life. Jordan, he's set for life. That's just how it goes. What are your thoughts on that, Dean?
Perfectly good. They are. Luka is set for life no matter what he does. Yeah, he's whether he goes in NBA, Gatorade League, or overseas. He's taking care. He's set no matter what. Jordan is going to be set in a different way. I don't see Jordan playing pro. I mean, I know that Jordan kind of has his eyes on the Gatorade League, but we'll see about that.
Yeah.
I know I call it the Gatorade League. That's what it used to be.
But he is set when it comes to having relationships with people from Iowa. And the reality is, when it comes to any job, Jordan just says his name and, he'll have a leg up. And that's how America works, kids. And that's all good. I'm okay with that,
Jordan Bohannon might be the next governor of. No, he won't be the next. But
no, don't start that, Dean.
Yeah, I see a political career for him. I don't know how it will be, but he just seems to be a very big activist.
Yeah.
And, and just his mentality is, I wouldn't mind seeing him get into politics. I really wouldn't. But we'll see if that ever happens. But
Dean is already campaigning for him, folks.
I'll move back to Iowa if he ever becomes governor of Iowa. No, I'm just kidding. That's not going to happen, no matter who's the governor of Iowa.
No. On a side note, I think the state of Iowa is doing pretty good right now, and with sports and all of it. Which, by the way, I told you we were going to talk about this, Dean, but obviously when the show gets going, things get forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
A year removed from, or almost a year from, the Big Ten deciding to cancel the season. And I got to say, Dean, had that season not happened, it would have been catastrophic. And I am so pleased and happy that I, said my 2 cents. I don't know how much it mattered. Probably not at all. But I, put out my opinion. You put out your opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And the season happened. And what's even better news is that the stats me and Dean were putting out came to fruition, AKA young people are virtually just fine with the COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at across all the leagues, Dean, I don't think I'm hard pressed to even name one guy who even had COVID, let alone has been in trouble. Go ahead.
Oh, no. And I think we're not going to know exactly who had COVID unless that person makes it known himself.
Oh, yeah, that's
because
true.
Of HIPAA privacy laws.
Yeah.
But I think, honestly, the Big Ten, I'm glad that they played. Iowa got in their 8 regular season games. The only team in the Big Ten, I think, to do that.
Yes.
Get all 8 regular season in. Unfortunately, we didn't get our bowl game in or our bonus game in, but I think that's because the rules in the Big Ten this year for the protocols for the COVID were too strict.
Way too strict.
The Big 12, the SEC, ACC, Pac-12. Well, the Pac-12, they got started later. I won't even go into them.
Yeah.
But they didn't have those kind of issues. They might had to have a team sit out, but they were back next week.
Yeah.
Where in this case, Wisconsin was forced to sit 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Michigan, I don't think, played its last 3 games, including the Iowa game.
And Iowa wrestling wasn't even able to finish their last 2 meets, because things were so strict.
Right. And so I think the Big Ten, I appreciate their safety concerns, but let's face it, it didn't affect the other conferences, safety wise.
Absolutely right.
And I just think they made a huge mistake. And ultimately it cost Iowa their last 2 games. Well, no, Iowa was ready to play the bowl game. It was Missouri that screwed up by letting their players go home for the holidays.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. You're right about that. Dean, I think that was beautifully said. By the way, I'm not calling for anybody's job, but what's his name? I think, what is it? Kevin, who's the
Ward. Kevin Ward?
Yeah, Kevin Warren. I gotta say, folks, anyways, listen, I'm not calling for jobs, but he almost made a catastrophic mistake, and he would have made that mistake had other people not come into play and say, dude, listen, let's get away from the political stuff and let's try and make a solution here. But moving off of Kevin Warren, who cares? The SEC and the Big 12 deserve, an applause. And Ohio State and Iowa and Nebraska deserve an applause because they came forward and they said, we feel strong about the evidence we have. We feel strongly in our convictions, and we are going to move forward. We're not going to be sheep here. You do what you want to do, Big Ten and Pac-12, but we are going to do what we need to do. And the ACC, for that matter. The ACC played as well. So congratulations to them. That was, in my eyes, that was absolutely amazing. And, I'm happy about it. On a different note, a year later, I'm excited about Kinnick Stadium. I think it's going to be wide open, Dean, and I think it's going to be sold out. What do you think?
Absolutely. It sounds like we're going to go full capacity. A lot of other stadiums in the Big Ten are going full capacity. So as long as the protocols in the state of Iowa allow them to go full capacity, we're going to see 69,000 people in the stands this fall.
Woo!
You know?
I'm getting goosebumps right now, baby. I really am. I'm getting really excited about that. Dean, aren't you trying to go to a game?
Yes. October 13th is the home game against Purdue. I'm hoping that time-wise things work out that I can do both the game and the class reunion I'm going to. So the class reunion will be in the evening. So I would almost need the Purdue game to be a 11 o'clock game so that I could get over the game and get up to Waterloo. It's a 2-hour drive from Iowa City to Waterloo. And so I would need to get over with so I could at least get to, the beginning or at least shortly after the class reunion starts so I could make my grand entrance.
My grand entrance. That's funny. Well, Dean, I'll say this, you're in a good position to flash a lot of stuff, so I'm being serious, so, I got to say, Dean, I'm not sure I would go to a class reunion. I had a lot of friends, in different sectors, water polo was kind of nerdy and dorky. Basketball was more jock. And, I was friends with both, I was nominated for homecoming king or whatever. I didn't win, but so I had a good thing. But give me the reason why you go back. Why do you go back to one of those things?
I just enjoy our school was not so big. There was like 275 in our graduating class. So
wow.
I mean, I suppose that's a lot by some standards, but not by other standards. By the way, that whole school only has about 275 people in the entire school now. So that things have changed since that. Yeah.
Wow. So the whole school is the same size as your class.
Yeah. It's they've changed a lot. It was a Catholic high school, Waterloo, Columbus.
Yeah.
That's back in the day when we were big enough. We would play Dowling and Wahlert out of Dubuque.
Iowa. The state of Iowa has a lot of private schools.
They do. They used to have Regis. Our biggest rivalry was with Regis of Cedar Rapids, but I go back because I enjoy talking to my friends.
That's good. Yeah, I like that.
My old friends, my old classmates, because it's the only time I get to see them. I get to see them on Facebook every now and then, and some of them, even though they have Facebook accounts, they're not active on Facebook.
Yeah.
Every now and then, so and so like your picture, and I go, dang, he must be feeling it today. He's on Facebook because
he's really feeling my
about
picture.
6 months. I go, where's your comment? No, and I think one of the best guys that I keep in contact with, but he's not from my high school class. He's from my college graduating class. He's a former sheriff and former owner of Hall's Photography in Marion, Iowa. He's a good college guy to me. He still calls me by my nickname on here. So you'll see Mick. So if you see a guy by the name of Mike calling me Mick,
I'm going to be calling you Mick now. You shouldn't have told me.
Yeah. But he and I have reminisced a little bit about our times in college because, he and I, along with a couple other guys, we caused our little bit of trouble in high school.
Yeah.
Not high school,
the best
but college.
times.
So
yeah.
I wish we could have a class reunion with that class because I wouldn't need to be the whole class. Just the four of us getting back together would be fantastic.
Yeah, no, that you're totally right about that. I agree with that. If it could just be your group, you could just, that would be worth it. Um, it seems to me that the best time to be alive as a man is in the early 20s and your age, Dean. That's when it seems the best time to be a man. Would you agree now that you've been 20 and you're your age now?
Yeah.
You're
I mean,
retired, you're living life, baby.
yeah, I mean, I'm okay. I'm going to turn 60. I'm going to turn 65 on Friday.
Yeah.
So I'm officially old as of Friday.
You look good though.
Yeah, thank you. But I think like the 65 now is like the new 45. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I know when I was 45, if I looked at a 65-year-old man, he looked like he's about ready for the grave.
No doubt, because of smoking cigarettes and people. I think what we are going to see is we're going to see a good amount of people because of the intake of taking care of your body. You're going to see a good chunk of people live to like 120, like 110, maybe around there. Hundreds would be good. And then I think you're also going to see actually the average limit go down because there are some things in our society that people gravitate towards. People are still smoking now more than ever. People are drinking now more than ever. So, but yeah, Dean, you look good. And, when I think of my life, I think, I got 100 years at the least. So let's, we'll go there. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me point out too.
What's up?
That when I became of age, 18 was the legal drinking age.
Yeah.
And also Vietnam War was done and over with, so we didn't have my generation who graduated with me didn't have to worry about the Vietnam War. We didn't have to deal with it, and so we weren't really the hippies and the make love people of San Francisco and all that. I like my generation. I really do. I mean, we're probably among the last generation not to experience growing up with computers and cell phones and actually no, my daughter's generation didn't grow up with those when they were kids. I'm sorry.
Right.
We didn't. Right. There were computers, personal computers, and cell phones and stuff like that. So they're actually
because I'm 26. I'm 26, and when I was about 8, 9, and 10, not everybody had full blown computers like they do now.
Yeah, and that's just it. And so yeah, I would say my daughters who are going to turn 40 this year, my twin daughters, they are the very last generation not to have this. But they were also the first to embrace the new stuff. Right.
Okay. Totally true. What they always say, the saying, hard times make good men, and that saying. Well, that's what it seems like for your generation, because, it was a hard time with the Vietnam War. And so, your parents made good, strong men there. So, and I know you I know my grandfather and you personally, and my dad's 50 years old, and just great men. And so for me, and this is advice to anybody that's around my age. For me, I have always tried to find people, whether it's through social media or in person, that have something to offer that is positive, whether that's a mentorship, intelligence, whatever that is. And also I like to surround myself with positive people. And, I think that's a good thing to do. And so, for me, I thank God that I have, some great people in my life. I want to end with here, Dean. And I think that was a cool little segment right there. But real quick, with Iowa football and Well, hold on here. Where are we at? Well, real quick, I do want to say that there were 5 Iowa Hawkeyes that were named top 5 in their position groups. And here we go with the. I want to just here talk about the recruiting real quick, and then there was a poll. I was going to go over which Iowa Hawkeyes were going to get drafted, but we'll skip that. Folks, real quick with Iowa Hawkeye recruiting, June 25th is the date that a lot of, I think that is the date. And the way that I'm seeing it is that Iowa is basically putting the 25th down, and they're saying, listen, that's what we're going with. And I think you're going to see Iowa have about 10, maybe even, between 10 and 15 guys committed by June 15, or excuse me, June 25th, which is exciting. Dean, I had something on my mind really quickly to finish this out. I'm pretty sure it had, I'm blanking on it. It had something to do with the COVID and the recruiting, or not recruiting, but sports, but I'm blanking on it now. But listen, just to ramble here, it is incredible that we have pushed through this, that it's been positive, and I'm excited for Iowa to be back open. At the end of the day, folks, we can't stay shut down. That is not an applicable course of action. Not one bit. We can't stay shut down. We got to move forward and in a positive direction. Too many jobs have been lost and all of that. Dean, it sucks. I'm forgetting the topic that I wanted to discuss here. To end this out, just talk to me, Dean, about what do you think about Iowa opening things back up? They probably will, and things getting back to normal, and just your last thoughts here.
Okay. I don't know about Iowa opening up, because I think they're pretty much open anyway.
Yes.
I think they're just, what I understand, there's a few counties that are a little hardcore, but
yeah,
overall, Iowa's pretty much open. You know what I'm more excited about?
Talk to me.
June 15th here in California, when we finally open up our state again. We finally lift the mask mandates.
Yeah.
Paul, you can come to California now. The mask mandates are going to be lifted. But and then we pretty much get back to normal around here. So I'm looking forward to that, because I've already started not wearing my mask in certain places.
Yeah, me too.
And this comes from a hardcore mask. I believe in the mask, but I went to church the other day for the first time in 14 months. No mask.
Nice.
I went to Bible study last night. No mask. And of course, at the gym, you have to actually still wear your mask. But when you're in the pool, you can take it off.
So, but you've been able to go in the gym, huh? You've been able to go inside the gym.
Yes. Our gyms have been open for a while because our county is opened up. We're actually one tier away from the top tier of being able to open.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really matter if we ever get to that top tier, because if we hang on for another 2.5 weeks here, we're going to be open anyway.
Very, very true. I don't know if the gyms are open over here. I'm sure they are. But yeah, I've been going to church for a couple of weeks now. And that's exciting. It's good to be around people, and I've always known that, you need to be around people. People are what make you live. Energy comes through all of us. I can feel energy through Dean right now. That's just how things go.
Well, no, it's like I said, for the last 14 months, I've been parked in front of the freaking TV. And you know what? It's just time to get on with life.
It is.
Open everything back up. Let people make their own decisions, about what's best for them. And I'll respect whatever decision they make, I mean, like I said in my video last night, I will probably still continue to wear my mask off and on. I was actually doing that before I was wearing masks. People don't know that before COVID even hit. A lot of times, because of the dusty air here in Bakersfield, the air pollution. And I used to have valley fever, and I don't want to get valley fever again because the second time might kill me. And so when the air quality is bad, you would see me out with a mask anyway. And I'd have people ask me at work when I'm walking outside on my rounds as a safety officer, they would go, "Are you sick?" I go, "No, the air pollution's horrible today.
Yeah.
I don't want to get sick."
In the South, it is rough. Literally, you can feel the difference in the air that you're breathing from Sacramento to LA. I mean, it's crazy, but that's just how things are. I mean, in Southern California, people are so, it's so close to each other, Dean, I want to ask you this. I did the poll for which as an Iowa fan, which opponent do you dislike the most? And I thought it was going to be, I knew Nebraska was going to win, but I thought Wisconsin was going to be second. So I'm a little surprised by that. And then, somebody added Ohio State. It annoys me when people add stuff because, when you add something, basically what that's saying is you don't really care about respect. And you think that you putting Ohio State on the thing is that important to disregard my poll in the first place. Anyways.
Yeah.
And so Nebraska won, Iowa State was second. And that surprised me because for all intents and purposes, the Iowa State game doesn't matter. What did you think and who would you vote for?
I voted for Wisconsin.
Nice. I agree with you. So did I.
And it's just like, recently we've owned Iowa State and Nebraska, and we're having our troubles with Wisconsin. And that's why I hate them. I just like, we can't, when we beat them in basketball or football, it's very rare. And, and it's just like, I'm so tired of them beating us, and they're no different than we are.
They're so similar to us too,
Yeah. Yeah, they are in a lot of ways. They are both sports. So I'm just tired of losing to them. And that's why I hate Wisconsin so bad. I don't hate Iowa State as much. I want to beat Iowa State every time we play, but it doesn't bother me if they go out and win the rest of their games and go 11-1 next year.
Yeah, me either.
They go 11-1 next year. That one belongs to Iowa State and Iowa.
Yeah,
I'm all for it.
Yeah, you and me root for Iowa State after the game between Iowa and Iowa State. That's how, when Iowa plays Northwestern, when it's all said and done, I root for Northwestern. You want the teams that you play, that you battle with. But yeah, Dean, I'm with you. I hate Wisconsin by far. It's Iowa and it's Wisconsin. That's how it's been for the past 20 plus years in the Big Ten. Some people in the media, they want to argue for Northwestern because a lot of them have went to Northwestern. It's like, shut up with that. Northwestern has not been that competitive overall for 20 years. I mean, for gosh sakes, they had a losing record just the year before this past season. So, and Minnesota is not quite there. It is Wisconsin. So it did surprise me that people picked Iowa State. All right, folks, we're winding down here on the NHA podcast. Again, thank you so much for listening. The best place to find us on YouTube, the best place to find me and Dean is on Facebook, Nolan Hawkeye Anthony and Dean Freen. You can find me on YouTube, Nolan Hawkeye Anthony, and you can find Dean on YouTube. He's going to be talking about his journey with weight loss and all of that. Maybe give you some tips and some advice. Listen, folks. This Iowa team is absolutely loaded with football. A year later, it does seem incredible that we almost did not have a season. And for those of you that were pushing for there not to be a season, I ain't mad at you because you didn't win. At the end of the day, we're all Iowa Hawkeye fans. And things should be back to normal here. And that gets me excited. Jordan Bohannon, I hope, your body feels a little bit better after the thing, after the fight. I put that up. Hope he feels better. One point that I was going to make about that is that usually sports guys don't get messed with because they're big and tall. And, Jordan, even though he's short for basketball standards, he's tall in the United States. He's about 6'1", 6'2". That is above average. He's not overly big, but usually in my experience at Pacific, occasionally, Dean, you would have a guy who didn't realize how strong individuals were that were good enough to play Division I sports. They didn't realize it, and they would, try something, and it would go horribly bad for them. Or you would have guys that, for whatever reason, it bothered them that you played Division I, and so they wanted to test their limits and really go. So, listen, at the end of the day, I think Jordan will probably learn from this and, decide that, if he's going to go out, maybe keep a little bit lower profile, just a little bit lower profile there. And then, outside of that, Dean, do you have any last words before we head out of here?
No, I think we covered it all, and I'm excited because we left some topics on the table for next time. So
yes, we did.
These guys don't know how much that we've been planning behind the scenes for this off season. So
amen.
We got some good stuff, guys. So keep coming back and listening to us, and watching us on YouTube too, because amen. We got some good stuff for the rest of the summer.
What he's discussing, the top running backs and quarterbacks Iowa will face. That's an interesting thing to get into. 5 Hawkeyes were named top 5 in their position group for the NFL. All exciting. Ladies and gentlemen, truly, and we thank you from the bottom of our heart for listening, supporting the show, and sharing. If you want to support in a different way, we do have a PayPal on the website, 247hawkeye.com. We'll put the link in the description. But outside of that, folks, we're going to be doing this regardless. We love talking with you. We love hanging with you. I'm going to be thinking about doing Facebook Live as well, where you guys can come on and talk with us while me and Dean are doing the show. And outside of that, again, we thank you. We love you. We love the Iowa Hawkeyes. And without further ado, D-BAP, don't be a pussy. Will on facts or feelings. Your feelings don't matter. Love y'all. Bye.
Bye.
All right, buddy.